see. It's gonna go. Okay, cool. It should be working. What's going on, YouTube? I hope all is well. Forgive me for being a couple minutes late. We had some technical difficulties. I'm gonna check the stream from my phone. While I'm doing that, feel free to drop a comment, leave in the chat. I missed y'all. Let me cut my ear off too. I feel rusty. Good stuff. Y'all forgive me. Had some technical difficulties loading the stream. We're going to go live on IG in a minute. We should be good. I hope everyone's doing well. What's going on? It's been a minute. Let me check the audio. What's going on? Okay, from my phone. Let's head over to IG and get the second stream going and help them join the combo. Let's see. Oh. Let me see. IG. Cool. What's going on, IG? I hope all is well. We're going to title this stream a Dough for Degrees update. What's up, the professional concierge? We pin this comment. Y'all forgive me for being a couple minutes late. I had some technical difficulties trying to load the stream, so I had to work through them. Hola. I hope everyone's doing well. I missed y'all. It's been 2 solid weeks. Eric the Executioner, good to have you in the convo. Design Logic, good to see you too. What's up, Carrie Bay? I hope all is well. Peace, bro. Stay safe out here amidst the coronavirus craziness. What's popping, everybody? Much love for joining. I appreciate you. For those who are new to the conversation, what's going on? Today is May 31st, 2020. My name is Danielle Jeffers. I'm the founder of Dough for Degrees, LLC. As you can see, I have on a shirt, Dough for Degrees. Dough for Degrees is a scholarship coaching company where I teach students how to earn scholarships to go to college and graduate debt-free. Again, my name is Danielle Jeffers, and I'm a debt-free graduate of Virginia Tech. I graduated last year in 2019, having earned more than $200,000 in scholarships. And since July of 2019, we've been doing this special segment through Dough for Degrees. It's a show we do every Sunday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time called our Community Scholarship Chats. And what is a Community Scholarship Chat? It's simply an opportunity for students, parents, guidance counselors, teachers, professors, whomever wants to watch the stream to join as I answer any questions you have about scholarships. Now, what's been happening the last 2 weeks, I had to cancel the chats back to back. And if you watch the channel, if you follow me on IG, you can follow me on IG at djeffers_. I'll drop my Instagram in the YouTube chat at djeffers_. It's the first initial of my first name and my last name, Jeffers with an underscore. And on YouTube, you can subscribe to Dough for Degrees YouTube channel. And I've been posting updates. And I've been saying, hey, the chats, well, today's live is canceled out of obedience to God. I said that the first time 2 weeks ago, and then I did it the second time on last Sunday, and I gave some more details just to let everyone know, hey, everything's okay. I'm just taking some time and just trying to be obedient. And so I wanted to give you all an inside perspective into what obedience to God looks like and why I said that, because I know many of you texting me, you contacting me. I'm still following up with a lot of you all. I really was asked to take a step back. And so I'm not going to hit you over the head with the Bible. That's not what I'm going to do. But I want to have a genuine conversation. You all know I tell you all the time, authenticity always wins. What's up, Kev? I hope all is well. What's popping? I'm going to leave a message in the chat, in both chats, and say drop any questions or concerns you have about scholarships. But I tell you all the time, authenticity always wins. That principle, and I teach principles. I've said this before on the channel. Principles are things you can take and apply to any situation, no matter what the circumstance may be. So if someone were to give you a tip or advice, if I were to tell you, hey, the FAFSA opens October 1st, it's best that you begin to gather your tax paperwork, your income, your tax return, and your parents' tax return by August, and you have all those materials together so that in September you can apply for the FAFSA and just submit it and knock it out within the first 2 weeks. I will be giving you a tip. I'm giving you advice. I'm helping you take a practical step. But the principle of that situation is preparation is better than procrastination. That's the principle. Once again, catch me. I gave you a tip. I gave you some advice, helped you to take some action, but the principle you can take and apply to any situation, regardless what it may be, is that preparation is always better than procrastination. And so I teach principles. Authenticity always wins. Write everything with honesty, transparency, and vulnerability. Tell the truth. Show your heart and be clear about what you're saying. That's what that means. I'll tell you to not don't harbor on the past, but look toward the future and be focused and be present in the present. Don't worry about what happened in the past. You can't do anything about it, but put your energy into making your future the best it can be, while also being present, being attentive and alert in the present moment. I teach you principles. I don't give you just tips and advice. But what I want you to understand is that scholarships are only a microcosm or a small representation of life itself. And I'm going to dig into that today and tell you why I took a step back for 2 weeks and how it helped me come back stronger than I was coming before. And so let me leave this comment and say, drop any questions or concerns you have about scholarships in the chat. That's still the purpose of the conversation. But I am going to take a turn and do things a little bit differently today. And I really teach y'all about life. If you want to hear it. If you don't, hey, it's going to be up anyway, so you can catch the replay. Drop any questions or concerns you have about scholarships. Because what I think many leaders often forget, or people in general, is that you can't pour from an empty cup. And above all else, no matter what you do in life, you always have to make sure you're okay. Because if you're speaking from a broken vessel, if you have a broken perspective on life, everything you say will be broken and fragmented. But if you're whole, you're healed, you're good, then you'll speak from a place of clarity and understanding and depth. Things will be deeper than surface level. And so we're going to dig into that today. The things I talk to you and teach you today will help you as you apply for scholarships too. You just have to have an ear to hear. You have about scholarships. Okay. So let's talk about life. I don't have any notes. I'm just coming straight from my heart and speaking off the cuff. I don't have any notes. To everyone who's joining, who's watching, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. So first, I want to say leadership is important, but a leader is first a human. You can't pour nothing from an empty cup. So true. Leadership is important, but oftentimes leaders are looked at from an angle of wow and awe and speechlessness, where people are like, well, you do so many fantastic things. You've accomplished so much. How do you feel? Honestly, I feel exhausted, because if you've accomplished a lot of things, you always are running. You're trying to manage this. I have to get up at 4 a.m. to do this. I need to stay up until midnight to finish this. Get 4 hours of sleep, get up and do this, do that. But what's often overlooked when a leader takes the charge to step forth and lead, whatever the case may be, whether you're leading in the classroom or you're leading outside the classroom, whether you're leading your community or you're leading in business or you're leading in whatever, your humanity is often overlooked. You're the last person who's taken care of, because what leadership requires is selflessness. It requires sacrifice. It requires you to put your needs and your desires on the back burner so that you can satisfy the needs and desires of other people. If you are selfish and you're a leader, you're not a good leader. Leadership requires you to be selfless. You are the last person who's asked, how do you feel? Genuinely. Now, out of respect and politeness, most people start the conversation, oh, how are you? Are you doing okay? Is everything cool? Yeah, but you're not really asking how I am. You're doing it out of courtesy, 9 times out of 10. I do the same thing, especially if you need something from someone. If someone is known to give you a word of encouragement or advice, you're looking for that from them. You're not really looking for them to pour their problems at your feet. And so to all my leaders, to all the people who step forward on a continuous basis, I want to remind you to not overlook your humanity. Don't overlook your humanities. People may not be able to check in and see how you're doing the way you can see and check in on yourself and analyze your progress, your personal development, your professional development. But you have to always take the time to do a self-check, a heart check, a mental check, an emotional check, a spiritual check, whatever type of check you need to do to make sure you're in alignment and you're in a good position. Don't overlook your humanity. And sometimes when you're not doing the check you need to do, God will check you yourself. And so even if you are doing the checks you need to do, God will still check you, because he has a way of picking and pruning us so that we can bear more fruit. I didn't come to preach to you today. I didn't come to hit you over the head with the Bible. That's not what I'm going to do. But I did come to be honest and transparent and vulnerable. I'm going to have a real conversation with you. And so for me, what happened the last 2 weeks was, hey, I was doing good. Mentally, doing well. Emotionally, doing well. Physically, doing well. Spiritually, doing well. Professionally, personally, I was doing well. But there were some things God needed to show me so that I could bear the right fruit in the next season of my life. I'm going to take you to my IG. Now, YouTube, you all know I got off of IG in April of last year. Give me 1 second, y'all. Got off of IG in April of last year out of obedience to God. Once again, out of obedience to God, he asked me to take a step away from Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I bared some, how does this? I bore some fruit with my good friends, Kevin Stevenson and Corey Hackett Green. Had I been as engrossed and given so much attention to IG and Facebook and Twitter as I was in my personal time consuming so much content, I wouldn't have been able to contribute to the efforts of the 2019 In My Bag tour in the way that I was able to. And so sometimes God will ask you to put something on hold so that you can press play on something else. And so that's what happened. Now I returned to Instagram. I didn't return to Facebook, didn't return to Twitter in full capacity. I didn't return to Facebook for another thing God asked me to do. But I returned to Instagram in March of this year. So I was off for almost an entire year. I decided to add an additional stream to Dough for Degrees Sunday Lives so we could have two things going on. When I got back on Instagram, one of the first things I posted was obedience is better than sacrifice. Oftentimes, God asks me to do things that I don't want to do, but I've learned that God does not delight in partial obedience. I'll say it again. Oftentimes, God asks me to do things I do not want to do, but I've learned he does not delight in partial obedience. What does it mean when I say God doesn't delight in partial obedience? That means God doesn't like me to half do anything. If he told me to do something and I say, okay, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it my way, he's not pleased by it. And he has a way of correcting me and telling me when I'm wrong that no one else could tell me and make me feel as little and small as he does, to remind me he's Alpha and Omega. And so when he asked me to get off, I was like, okay, I'm going to be obedient. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to have to cancel twice back to back. Hey, Miss Harold, I hope all is well. Good to see you too. I didn't want to have to cancel twice back to back. That's not what I wanted to do, but he knew what I needed. And so I'm going to go back to what I was speaking on before. Don't overlook your humanity. Now let's apply this to scholarships. How does this work with scholarships? Okay. Y'all know I coach students all around the world. YouTube and Instagram are only an extension of the work I do on a daily basis for Dough for Degrees. I promise to give y'all 3 videos on YouTube. That has not been as consistent as it used to be. My apologies. I'm working through some kinks. No excuses. That's just the truth. But here's the thing. And when you're applying for scholarships, I tell you all the time, if you submit 3 scholarship applications per week, you're in a good position to win the scholarships you need to go to college and graduate debt-free. The scholarship process requires, here's another principle, quality over quantity. You could submit 20 applications a week, but they're poor submissions, meaning they're full of grammatical errors, full of bad punctuation. It didn't make any sense. Just because you submitted 20 scholarship applications doesn't mean you're going to win any of them. And if they're poor quality, your chances of winning them are a whole lot lower. I would rather you submit 3 quality applications and have a higher chance of winning those as opposed to having a lower chance of winning one of the 20 that you submitted. So let's look at scholarships and let's look at life. Quality over quantity. I could put in 100 hours per week into Dough for Degrees, building it from the ground up, working through the kinks and navigating the process. But if I'm broken, if my humanity hasn't been examined, if I'm not healed and whole, those 100 hours won't produce the fruit it's supposed to fruit. Things won't come out the way they're supposed to come out. The video may be full of things I missed in editing, full of mess ups, all these things. And so what I'm saying is it's all about putting forth a quality effort. And if you're putting forth a quality effort, the first thing you have to check on is you. Let's take this to scholarships. You all know you won't win every scholarship you apply for. And oftentimes you will receive rejection letters. I received 12 rejection letters in my first 2 weeks of applying for scholarships before I got my first yes. So I didn't know what I was doing anyway. I didn't have a lot of confidence. I just had a commitment to winning the money I needed to go to college and graduating debt free. And because I was committed, commitment simply means doing what you said you would do long after the initial feelings you had in that moment have left. I'll say it again. Commitment is doing what you said you would do long after the initial feelings you had in that moment have left. So when I was a junior in high school and I said, I'm going to apply for scholarships, I was excited because that told me I'm going to go to college and graduate debt free. But when the process started at the beginning of my senior year and I realized how much work it required, how it became a part-time job, how I had to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to knock out my applications and go to sleep at midnight and do the same thing every day for 5 months straight, even on the weekends, did it on my birthday. miss family occasions, miss family birthdays to apply for these scholarships. It required a great amount of sacrifice to produce the results I did by winning $100,000 in scholarships in 5 months. But I made a commitment. So my feelings weren't a good indicator of whether or not I would produce the fruit I said I would produce, or whether or not I would submit the scholarship when I said I would submit it. If you depend on your feelings to tell you when and where you're going to do something, you're always going to fail, because then you're making an emotional decision. It's better to make a logical decision. So with rejection, when you're applying for scholarships, if you take that rejection and you beat yourself up, if you get a no when you apply for a scholarship and you tell yourself, I'm no good, I never do anything right, I always lose, you're beating up the most important person in the process, you. It's like you being a mad scientist and you've decided to create this machine that's going to apply for 10 scholarships per week for you. And you've done great work on this machine. Remember, in this metaphor, you are the machine. You, the person, the scholarship applicant, you're the machine. You've created this machine. The machine functions well, but all of a sudden there's a mess up in the machine. The machine doesn't produce 10 applications per week. It doesn't submit 10 applications per week. It only submits 9. And you take a baseball bat and you beat the mess out that machine. You beat it to the part where there's just pieces of the machine all over the floor. It's glitching. Sparks are flying from the machine. And then you look at the machine and like, yo, I still need you to submit these scholarships. Get back to work. What you doing? You beat the machine up. That's the same thing we do oftentimes when we're applying for scholarships and we get rejected. We beat ourselves up. Now, how are you going to win the money you need if you chose to beat yourself up? You beat the machine up. Now you can't produce the fruit you need to bear. And so I said at the beginning, don't overlook your humanity. If you are like, I can't do this anymore, I feel exhausted, I feel tired, there's nothing wrong with taking a step back and taking a break. There's nothing wrong with it. Life is a marathon. The scholarship process is a marathon. It took me 5 years to graduate debt-free. I think a lot of people miss that. I didn't get a full-ride scholarship. Nobody cut me a check for me to win one scholarship that paid for my entire Virginia Tech education. That's not how my process worked. I had to apply for scholarships from my senior year of high school until I finished at Virginia Tech. I was applying for scholarships as an 18-year-old high school senior. I was applying for scholarships as a 19-year-old college freshman, a 20-year-old college sophomore, a 21-year-old college junior, and a 22-year-old college senior. I was still applying for scholarships. I was still writing essays. I was still finding them and doing the research and asking people to edit my essays. It took 5 years to win more than $200,000 to pay for my Virginia Tech education. So it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so while you're on this marathon, while you're on this journey, you can't beat the machine up. You can't beat yourself up and expect to do well and win what you're supposed to win. So how do you assess? Here comes another tip. How do you assess your progress? What do I teach y'all all the time? The winning scholarship mindset and the winning mindset in life is progress, not perfection. You will never be perfect. Don't seek to be perfect. The desire to be perfect is equivalent to the desire to be crazy or insane, because none of us are perfect and we never will be. So if you aim to be perfect in anything you do, you're aiming to fail, because it's guaranteed you're going to make a mistake. But if you adopt the mindset of progress, not perfection, you're guaranteed to succeed. Now, what does progress, not perfection look like practically? Progress, not perfection simply looks like you analyzing your wins and your losses to find out how you can get better. The constant question you'll ask yourself all the time is, how can I improve? How can I improve in the way I communicate to other people? How can I improve in the way I write my essays? How can I improve in the way I express gratitude to people who take the time to write my letters of recommendation? How can I improve in asking my guidance counselor to send me additional lists of scholarships as she comes across them? How can I improve? That's the number one question. Let's apply it to life. Okay, I've been doing this YouTube live thing every Sunday since July 21st consistently. God asked me to take a step back. Okay, 1 week. Okay, God, I'll do it this first week. This is literally the conversation I have with God. I'm giving y'all an inside perspective. Okay, God, this first week, I got you. That's no problem. Then he tells me, oh, you can go live this Sunday. Then he says, no, you can't. And if you know me personally, you know I hate to be interrupted. I hate for things to be planned and then they don't go as planned. But when God told me, no, I'm like, God, you can't change your mind. Like you can't lie. Like he said, I didn't change my mind. I'm teaching you how to be patient and to be obedient and listen. And so I said, okay, God, I'm going to not go live this second Sunday in a row. I hope you let me go live next Sunday. But what I learned in that week, that second week I took off, was that I needed that on so many levels because I was tired. I'll give you an inside look into entrepreneurship. And I'm not trying to beat y'all's head or make you feel like I told you, I'm coming off the cuff today and I'm going to be candid and honest and tell you what happened the last 2 weeks. What entrepreneurship simply looks like is you hustling, you putting in all your time and your energy and your effort and working on your dream or your goal, your business, taking responsibility and accountability for everything that goes right and everything that goes wrong. And then still maybe not clearing $1 that week. Like literally, an employee can put in 40 hours per week, right? And you are guaranteed to get paid a certain amount of money. You're guaranteed to get a certain amount of taxes taken out, and you're guaranteed to have a certain amount go into your account. Your net income go into your account as long as you put in your hours. Entrepreneurship, you put in your hours, family stuff goes haywire. Maybe you get sick. You're behind on emails and text messages. Maybe you have a personal issue come up that throws everything off, but you're still supposed to put in your 100 hours, and there's no guarantee that you'll make $1. But the bills are still due. The rent is still due. Everything's still due. So what do? You trust God. You realize that it's not just about you, but you realize if you commit to the process, you'll see your success. You'll see your results. Same thing happens with scholarships. You say, I'm going to set out and apply for this number of scholarships each week. I'm going to write this amount of essays. You start doing the work consistently. You don't win any scholarships. You're like, well, what's the point of this? You got to trust the process. TTP, trust the process. That's another principle. Don't worry about what it looks like right now. But if you commit and continue to put forth the effort, you'll get the results you want. You just have to be willing to look at progress. Look at making progress. What's up? No sellout. My sister, appreciate you. Miss Harris said, God will sit us down. Yes, he will. And so my ask of you all today, because it's 3:24, y'all know we end at 3:30. My ask of you all today is to take some time to reflect this week and see if you need to take a break. Let's see if you need to take a break. See if you need to take a step back. And while you're doing that, also ask yourself, how can I improve? How can I do something differently? How can I become better at this? Y'all always have the link to contact me. I'll drop it in the chat again. You can talk to me whenever you want to talk to me. I'm here to encourage you. But most importantly, I want you to examine your humanity because you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's impossible to pour from an empty cup. So what I do to ensure that I don't pour from an empty cup is I have a morning routine that's consistent. I spend time with God every single morning. Like I told you before, I'm not here to beat you over the head. I'm not here to beat you with scripture or do anything like that. I'm just here to give you some inside perspective into what leadership looks like behind the scenes. Check on your humanity. How are you doing as a person? There are a lot of things going on in the world right now. COVID-19, the U.S. is opening back up. If you want my personal opinion on that, the U.S. isn't opening back up because it's safe. The U.S. is opening back up to stimulate the economy. And for those who view me who aren't in the United States, places are opening back up, not necessarily because it's safe, but because it's tied to the bottom line, the dollar. And for students, a lot of you have called me and asked me the last 2 weeks, should I take a gap year? Let me tell Instagram, the link to contact me is in my bio. Contact link is in my bio. For those of you who have reached out to contact me and asked me, hey, D, hey, Danielle, should I take a gap year this upcoming semester, or should I take this semester off? Should I go to community college? I'm going to give you my opinion right now. Hear me out. I will never tell you what to do. Never in my life will I tell you what to do. But I will only give you my perspective and my opinion. If I were a student going into college this fall 2020 semester, keep this in mind. I went to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, when I went, had more than 35,000 students. Ms. Harold said exactly, the economy is the reason why. I still go outside with a mask and gloves on because this coronavirus hasn't gone away. And it probably won't go away. It's probably getting ready to peak again. I'm not telling you that to scare you, but I'm telling you, if you look at the facts, people are going outside without masks on, and it's not necessarily safe. There's a high chance of this thing peaking again. But let me tell you this. If I were a student going back to school for the fall 2020 semester, enrolling in Virginia Tech, knowing Virginia Tech has more than 35,000 students when I attended, and they've increased enrollment every year since I left school, and they were increasing it while I was in school, knowing that we change classes every 15 minutes and we sit so close to each other, there's no way people can wipe down every doorknob, every bathroom stall, every table, every desk, every computer in 15 minutes in between classes. And colleges are already a petri dish. Let me give you this opinion too. When I was in college, I lived on campus all 4 years. I lived in a dorm room all 4 years. If someone got the flu, we already knew when flu season was coming. Right after we were preparing to transition to go home for Christmas and Thanksgiving break. If someone got the flu while living at Virginia Tech, you already were like, hey, I'm on high guard. Let me wash my hands more because I live in a petri dish. We're all on top of each other. There's a high chance of me getting the flu. And think about this too. Just take this into consideration. I'm not saying this is every college student, but I'm saying this is a common theme around America, especially with college students. We go to college, and I'm saying we because I've done this before too. Ain't no shame in my game. I'll be honest with you. Authenticity always wins. And some college students drink copious amounts of alcohol, thinking they're invincible. Copious amounts means a lot of alcohol, thinking they're invincible. You think you're going to tell an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid to leave home for the first time and they got to wear a mask every time they go, everywhere they go, put on gloves, wash their hands all the time, and they're going to adopt it and think yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to protect everybody. No, everyone's not going to have that mentality. So that's why we were asked to stay at home for 2 months. So in my humble opinion, I'm never going to tell you what to do. But if I were you, I would take this semester and go to community college. Now, if you're not a first semester freshman, if you're not an incoming student and you're already your junior year, your college has decided, hey, we're going to open our doors back up in the fall, but you can't take those classes you need to take at a community college, then here's my suggestion to you. Take a personal moment to ask yourself, is it worth exposing yourself to the COVID crisis if I go back to school this semester? Should I take a step back from school and venture into something else, continue my studies on an online institution, do some community service, apply for scholarships, defer for a semester, defer for a year, contact your student loan providers if you already have student loans and see what the policy is for this upcoming year before you make that decision. Because when I was in school, and y'all know I teach students how to win scholarships, so I hear this all the time. If you graduate or you're no longer taking classes, 6 months after that date, your student loans go into repayment. Now, I don't know what they're going to do considering COVID, but I'm asking you right now to examine your humanity and prioritize your safety over societal expectations and norms. I don't care if the whole U.S. opens and it's 80 degrees for 2 weeks straight. I have decided I'm not going anywhere. All my speaking engagements are canceled in person for the next few months because my safety is most important to me. I don't want to spread anything to anyone else. I don't have COVID-19. I don't want to spread it to anyone else, and I don't want to receive it. I don't want to get it. And so for everyone who's in a state of paranoia or confusion, just take some time to step back and think, is it worth it? There's nothing wrong with going to community college. I went to a community college for 2 years. I went to Danville Community College while I was in high school. I took dual enrollment classes and still finished with my 4-year degree. It doesn't matter. Everyone's process won't be the same. Everyone's journey to success won't be the same. And just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're educated. I could dig into that too, but I'm going to leave that alone. I will say self-education is an asset. I have learned more by self-educating than I did while I was in the classroom. Give you a perspective. You go to school for 4 years, even if you go to get your PhD and you look at the average lifespan of someone, they will still spend more time learning outside the classroom than they ever will learning inside the classroom. So if you have to choose to self-educate this year, next year, or this entire school year, there's nothing wrong with it because you will be doing it anyway for the rest of your life. Just my thoughts, just my 2 cents. I'm never going to tell you what to do, but I will always give you my honest opinion and perspective on the situation. My father said, always remember, if you fail at anything, it can be only a pause for success. Keep striving, keep trying. Your success will come when you least expect it. To believe in yourself is what will get you to the place you want to be. Yes, sir. Ms. Harrell said, makes sense, but how can we attend community college if we haven't applied? I would like to hear more offline. God forgive me. Most definitely. A lot of community colleges have rolling acceptance. So that means they take applications as they come in. A lot of community colleges also have online classes. So if it isn't your local community college, maybe you could go to community college offline. I'll text you, Ms. Harold, and we can coordinate the time to talk and walk through that too. I hope this live was helpful, y'all. It's good to be back. I'm glad I was able to talk with y'all today. My eyes are red because I got a tickle in my throat, y'all. Not because I'm about to cry. But I will say I'm going live again today. So I'm going live twice today at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch me on IG Live with the collective prep, y'all. The collective prep. I posted it on my IG page. I also posted a 5-second video on YouTube. I'm going live with the collective prep at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My sister asked, do you have any online speaking engagements coming up? Ms. Harrell said, okay, I'll reach out to you. Always good info. Awesome. Yes, I do have some online speaking engagements coming up. The one today at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the collective prep. I believe that's the name. Let me go check my Instagram before I tell y'all the wrong thing. I got like 10,000 things rolling around my head. Her name is Ashley Owsley. She teaches students how to win scholarships. If you go to her IG page, you can find it through my IG page as well. She has a bunch of different scholarships students can apply for on her IG page. And it is at Collective Prep, not at the Collective Prep, okay? Ashley Owsley, she's a founder of the Collective Prep, all right, y'all? Collective Prep. My sister says, ask any seminars. Seminars, okay, so here's an inside look. I'm going to drop a video to announce this and share this with you all, too. I will be teaching at the College of Southern Maryland again. I'll teach online. Hey, if you want to catch it, you can do that. That is June 22nd or June 20th. I don't know. I got to get the date. Hold on. I know it's in June, so it's next month. I'll be teaching the College Without Student Loans course online for College of Southern Maryland, and then I'll be teaching it again in the fall. That's subject to be in person, depending on the state of the coronavirus. So online is taking place June 22nd through the 24th, the College Without Student Loans course for the College of Southern Maryland. Any seminars, those will be taking place via YouTube. I'm going to get back active on the channel, sharing the 23 scholarships I owe you all, giving you all some practical tips for fall 2020 prep to prepare for the fall semester. So I'll be doing a lot of work online on Dope for Degrees YouTube channel and announcing scholarships you can apply for. But in this live